So Scott, exciting big game Monday. How is the squad looking going into that game?
Yeah, looking good. The mood around the camp's very positive. We're really pleased that we've got in. We didn't want the season to finish, so extending the season's positive. Lots to play for. We're preparing now for what's going to be a tough game against a really good side. We've got some tactical bits and pieces into the players today, as we will Saturday and Sunday as well, at the back end of it. So yeah, we're really looking forward to it. It's going to be a brilliant game. I think it's two really good sides, and should be a really good spectacle.
Yeah, it's been a season of the club seeming to make a lot of sort of records and hit some great landmarks. Away wins, goals scored, points gained. How excited and proud are you to be leading this team out in this game now, first ever game in the playoff for Crawley Town?
Yeah, really proud. A lot of work has gone in from a lot of people, but me as the leader, I'm a really proud man to be leading them out in a playoff campaign. I think it's been a tough season. We've had some ups and downs. There's been some periods where we didn't pick up points but played well, so we always looked at that process of the performances were really important to us, because we felt that was key of how we want to be here at Crawley. We always went after performances. We felt that we get them performances right, the results will always follow. They're a byproduct of our performance, and we stuck by our guns even when things wasn't going well in terms of the result. We've always stuck to our principles of play, and I think that's kind of stood us in good stead to get us where we wanted to get to, and I think that was important. But no, we're really excited for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, Mike Williams has said on Saturday that like us, Crawley, when they get it right, it's very hard to stop. Obviously, you agree with that. You said they're two good times, but where is this tie going to be won and lost, do you think?
I think that, like I said, I think it's two teams that are very similar, play very similar shape, very similar formation, very similar rotations, passing lines, very, very similar. In fact, they're not far off being identical to us in many ways, Where it's going to be won, in my opinion, is who wants it the most. I think playoff games are very much like that. But I know that I've got a good group of players in there that will be ready. And yeah, like I say, we were really, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and obviously it's a two-legged game. Do you prepare for 180 minutes, or is it 90 minutes, see where you are, then 90 minutes?
Yeah, no, we do. We have to look at the first game as the first half. So yeah, for sure, we will be looking at that, and we have spoke about that in depth with the coaching staff and the players. So we have looked at that, and we have kind of prepared as though this first game here is the first half of a game in effect. So yeah, for sure. So tactically there'll be certain things that we don't do because of that, and there's certain things that we will do because of that. So yeah, we've definitely taken that into consideration.
Yeah, and we've seen incredible queues here over the last few days. How amazing is it going to be to walk out and have an absolute packed house? MK Dons have sold their allocation as well. It's going to be an incredible atmosphere, isn't it?
Well, that's why we do this job. We do this job because of them reasons. We do the job because we want to first of all be successful. And we do it because of these moments where you're playing in these big games. I think it's been fantastic buzz around the place. The queues. It's almost like going back to the olden days when fans used to queue up. But full credit to the staff behind the scenes. We've had the media guy selling tickets, we've had the secretary selling tickets, and the staff behind the scenes have really mucked in, and everyone's kind of rolled their sleeves up and got on with it. And I think that's a credit to this football club. We've got some really good people here. But no, I'm looking forward to the game. I'm looking forward to walking out and seeing the fans. Got to be honest with you, the fans have been fantastic all season, and they're a big reason why we're here as well.
Yeah, And obviously the ties could end in penalties. Have you been practicing this week?
No, not this week, but we will do kind of coming into the second game for sure.
Yeah, and where are we with the squad? Is everybody full complement?
Yeah, full complement. Yeah, we're full. We're fully fit. We've had Kellen Gordon and Harry Forster have joined in parts of training today, but back end of the week they'll be full training, so they'll be available for selection as well.
Scott, you talked about the smiles, the queues outside today. I want to take you back a few months when you came in, how the mood has changed, how the club pulling together has changed, how everything around here has changed in those short, 15 months or so.
Yeah, night and day. There's a lot that's changed, and it had to. It had to change, in my opinion. There was a lot of things at this club that were not right. Not professional enough. Certainly in the playing squad, it took me 28 days before everybody turned up on time. There was a lot of loose professionals. So I had to, as a manager, I had to put that straight and put players in line. And some of them players had to go, and then we had to bring in my opinion, better people, better staff, better players in terms of their attitude and professionalism. And we've just kind of raised the standards of how I want people to work. We work extremely hard. We've got some unbelievable staff, some unbelievable human beings in that building, and them dressing rooms downstairs. And you can only be successful if you've got the right people to do it. And there's a lot of clearing out and a lot of standards to set in order for that to happen. And I can see now that it's a real difference from when I first come in, for sure.
You said that when you were at Swindon that nothing much you could have done would have made the fans love you. You never really quite knew why, whereas here it's worked. What have you done in that time? What do you need to get a fan base
around
that quickly?
I think number one rule when you're a football manager is to win games.
Yes.
I think that always helps. And in the manner we've won games as well, we've been exciting to play. I think we've scored some unbelievable goals. We sort of like looked at the awards dinner the other night, and we looked at the goals that were scored, and we could have sat there all night watching them. Some unbelievable goals, and I think the supporters of here certainly have taken on how we play. I think they like the way we play. And I think that they've really thoroughly enjoyed it and embraced it. So, and of course, I've built a relationship with the fans as well. I appreciate them, and I think they appreciate me. So, no, I've enjoyed my time here for sure.
You go into the playoffs, obviously having finished 7th. Do you feel slight underdogs generally, and do you like that tag?
I always feel like an underdog every Saturday, mostly. I think that's what we are. Start the season, we were back to be favourites to go down, but it kind of doesn't mean anything to me, because I know how hard we work, I know what work that goes in, and I know how the attitude of the players kind of behind that dressing room door and in them four walls of what we can achieve. That doesn't necessarily have to spill out to the public or to anybody else. We know what we're capable of, but we always feel that we're underdogs. Whatever happens, we're always, kind of in that ilk anyway. So we're kind of used to that.
Finally, do you feel real momentum though going into it?
I don't think it matters. I've got to be honest with you. A lot of people talk about that. A lot of pundits talk about it. A lot's to be said for momentum going into playoffs. It's not true. I remember certainly when I was at Forest Green when we won promotion from the National League. I think we got beat to Southport away, we got beat to somebody else, I think maybe Maidstone or somebody like that. We didn't go in with no momentum, but once you're in the playoffs, it's isolation then. It's them games are in isolation and you've got to be ready and organised for them. So I don't take that momentum. I don't really read much into that, if I'm honest with you.
Scott.
Hi.
Must be, you touched on it a little bit there already, but it must be particularly pleasing to finish in the playoffs, given how close you were to those bottom two last season.
Yeah, definitely. It's a big. We're kind of calling it an achievement in itself. Of course, you don't achieve anything unless you win something, but we see that as an achievement based on what happened here last year. We were third from bottom. We were scrapping for every point. back into the season, and we just about survived, and to go from that to having a bit of a clear out with some experienced players. A lot of people would have questioned, wow, we've got rid of all these big name players and these experienced players, and we've signed kind of nobodies. No disrespect, but there were players from non-league that people that hadn't heard of, and there was a lot of questions being asked about what on earth's going on there, but we quietly went about our business knowing what we were doing. I felt it needed a clear out, I felt it needed freshness, I think it needed newness in terms of young players who had not played the level. I backed myself as a coach, I backed my staff as coaches in order for us to polish them. And yeah, to finish in 7th place is an achievement, definitely from last year. But the next kind of hurdle is to go through to Wembley, and then the next hurdle after that is to win it. So it's one stage at a time.
You said momentum doesn't count for anything going into the playoffs. Do you kind of see this next week as a mini season in itself almost? Yeah,
certainly. I think that we've got to look at it like I spoke earlier. It's 2 games. It's 2 halves of football, but extended obviously. Rather than 2 45s, it's 2 90s. That's how we've got to look at it. But we're going to be really prepared for against what will be, in my opinion, a really good side. I think they're a very good side. I've really enjoyed my work this week watching them. It's almost like watching ourselves, but with a different kit on in many ways. And they've got some very, very good players, and they've got a very good manager. And they're a very good club. They're a really good club, and you have to look at their stadium and their facilities, what they've got. They're a big club. But we've got good players as well, and I trust my players, and I think it's going to be a really good game.
The one player who's done very well in particular on his way here now, how important is Dan also going to be in these 2 games, without necessarily singling out one player?
He's going to be really important because he's a proper person for a start. He is a complete winner. He's going to be probably doing more work than you actually believe in the dressing room before the game. He's a fantastic character, and he wants to win, and he's such a good person to have on your team, let alone what he does on the pitch. On the pitch, he's been obviously different class because he's put the ball in the net, and he works his absolute socks off. I love him. I'd run for a big wall for him. I think he's been fantastic for us. But yeah, he's going to be big for us in these certainly in these 2 games.
Nice one. Thanks.
Thank you.
Andrew?
Scott, just a couple of quick ones. So you mentioned momentum there isn't necessarily, other managers have said it's about who holds the nerve on the day. What do you feel your side need to show to get promoted?
Courage to play our way. I think that's important, because we play a certain way. We don't want to get away from that. I think that's important to me as a coach, that I try and put the message to the players that we've got here for a reason. We've got here because of the way we've played all season, so that we can't get too far away from that on the night. We've got to make sure we stick to our principles and play our way. We're just unfortunate that we're playing against a team who are very good, who are going to probably try and stop us from doing that. But that's the game. We're ready and prepared for that, and we're looking forward to it.
And finally, obviously the fans coming along, what part can they play? What's your message to the Crawley Town fans?
They can win us a game. They really can. I mean, they've won us games before. They've been fantastic, home and away. They can be that 12th man, and they have done. I think our fans are the best. I really do. I think they've been unbelievable all season. Like I say, I've built a real bond with them and a relationship with them, and I love every one of them. I can't wait to get out there on Monday and applaud them and show my appreciation to them, and hopefully we give them a good game and a good result. But yeah, they can have a big part in the game for sure. I think there's been times, certainly in playoff games, or certainly on Saturday was a big game, of course, but certainly coming into these playoff games now, we just need to make sure that we hold our nerve and we don't show any anxiety. I know there will be probably anxiety in the crowd, but we need to remain calm, because it's 2 legs, so whatever happens in the first one, it's not finished yet, and let's not let that anxiety spill onto the pitch. And I want my players to feel calm as well, and enjoy the game.